What's cracking, guys? Omar Isaf here, back with another video. For some, they have the eternal struggle against atrophy, losing their gains. For us right here, times are hard. We're facing the eternal struggle against that vent. We're not going to let it win. Skynet, I don't think so. Ish don't think so.
You are terminated.
Now check this out. We're talking about deadlifts today. I was taking a look at my deadlift recently. You know what I thought, Severin? What? It looks like shit. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. But yeah, see, even you agree. You're like, dude, it was painful to film you. And that is because recently I've been dealing with a minor knee issue. No big deal. It's already getting better, but it has changed my technique for the worse. And we can use this as an instructional video for everyone out there. And essentially what it is, when you initiate the pull, you want to do certain things right. If you don't do them right, you're bleeding power. And for us, we want to maximize the amount of weight that we lift safely. And this makes sense. We want a technique that's very trainable, repeatable, that we could come every single week to the gym, do the exact same thing, and get stronger. Makes sense. Okay. But there's three things we want to take a look at, and we can analyze either yourself, you film your sets. Some people film too many fucking sets, but filming your sets or having your friend take a look at you, there's three things. The first is bar oscillation, so it moving up and down when you initiate the pull. So the whip out of the barbell, the more weight you lift, the more whip there'll be. So we'll talk about that. We want to talk about rotation, rotating forward, so the plate's rotating away from you. And then we want to talk lastly about the plates rotating towards you. I'd say two of those are things we want to try and fix. And the third one is not nearly as bad. But essentially, a good deadlift or a deadlift where you're utilizing all your musculature effectively to lift the most amount of weight will be one where you take the slack out of the barbell, your shoulders slightly in front of the bar, and when you initiate the pull, the bar essentially moves in a straight vertical path. After it gets to the knees, it can deviate slightly. It'll very likely come more towards you, and that's okay. But when you initiate the pull, the barbell should be moving in a straight line. But this often is not the case. Why? Well, Skippy, I'm glad you asked that question. There's several potential reasons. The first one, I'm going to talk to the big boys that are lifting more and more weight, and we're going to use as a consideration the deadlift bar for those that use the deadlift bar. When there's more whip, when there's more bar oscillation, so moving up and down, maybe you're getting tight, you're trying to set, you're pulling the slack out, and then you dip the hips back down. When this occurs, if we're not completely tight, when we're not in a good technique, when we're not actually using all the hamstrings, what will tend to happen when we try and pull the slack out of the bar, we'll be yanked forward in a suboptimal position. So we're not setting up in a tight, stable position. What ends up happening, maybe we're not used to the bar lifting up ever so slightly, but our hips will rise and the bar will drift forward. So two things happen at the same time. One, yanking will occur, so you'll yank on the barbell, the bar will lift off the ground before you're in a strong, stable position, and then you'll notice simultaneously the plates rotating forward. If you don't have any bar whip and we're still maybe using 2 plates, 3 plates, 4 plates, at around 4 plates, you'll start to notice some of that oscillation, some of that whip occurring. If that doesn't happen to you, that's fine. But if you still notice the bar rotating away from you, it probably means your hips are rising too early. And so the bar is drifting further in front of you. And that's going to make your lockout really hard, that hip extension at the end. What you want to try and think about, on the other hand, is think more like a leg press. When you initiate the pull, you want to think quads, where you're using quads a little bit more. So you have your shoulders slightly in front of the bar. You're pulling from a strong, stable position, but use your quads more and not just your posterior chain. Don't let your back turtle up. And for me, what you'll notice recently, because of the knee, I'm subconsciously thinking about it, I'll tend to shy away from it, and that's what we're noticing. So we don't want the bar to rotate or pull away. The last one would be probably more for people that have a longer torso, shorter femurs, and what you'll tend to notice, they'll squat almost the deadlift. And what I mean when I say that is that they'll pull and their hips will be too low, and then as a result, almost the bar might come into contact with their knees as they pull the weight up, because it almost resembles a squat. And once again, part of this is biomechanics, their morphology, how they look when they're pulling the weight, but what they want to try and do instead is lift their hips ever so slightly up and load up the posterior chain more. So those two individuals have different concerns. The first person, the bar is rotating away from them, and so you want to bring it closer. You want to use the quads. For the person, if it's rotating too close into them, it's actually getting in the way. You want to think hips a little bit higher, back flat, and use the posterior chain. So there's The individual is a very important consideration when it comes to any of these lifts, and it's not a one-size-fits-all approach, but essentially when you film yourself from the side, you should be noticing the barbell go straight up and straight down, at least at the initial point of the movement. If you notice a drift forward or back, it's something we probably want to address in order to maximize the most amount of weight we lift. Anyways, guys, just a quick video we wanted to film. Thank you so much for watching the video. Severin, do you think we're going to be victorious?
We will destroy the vent people.
He knows what's up. If you like the video, make sure to like the damn video, and I'll see all you guys, my rascals, in that next one. Peace.
Eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables, eat your fucking vegetables.